Hi, I'm Reilly. I'm a podcast producer and presenter. In 2021, Scotland became the first country in the world to put into legislation the provision of period products to be free of charge to anyone who needs them. Monica Lennon is a Labour MSP, and she brought forward the bill after taking a lead from grassroots campaigners who are trying to alleviate poverty amid the cost of living crisis. I was lucky enough to have Monica join me on the podcast earlier in the year, where she explained the background to the bill and how it came into being and possible developments for the future. So I hope you enjoy this conversation. Thanks.
Watching and realising the impact of austerity,
Yeah.
on my constituents. I'd been a local councillor and people were struggling then. A lot of the research I was reading about was talking about women and girls are disproportionately impacted by austerity. So when we start to um, disinvest in public services, cuts to social security and so on, quite often women still have the sort of the caring responsibilities within the family. Women are more likely to be single parents. So we were seeing more and more people going to food banks. So people are very generous and donate to their local food banks when they can. But what was happening is people were supplying, groceries and food items, but not personal items like period products. So I started to ask the Scottish Government some questions to say, well, look, are you doing any work on this to see what is, how affordable are period products? How accessible are they? And it was just basically like, well, we're not doing any research. There's no particular issue with stigma. And if women and girls are struggling, they can go to a food bank. I'm not often stuck for words, but I was like, I really don't know what to say or do with this. So I just reached out and started chatting to different organisations, the Trussell Trust, who run a big network of food banks. So everyone came back and said, actually, this is a bit of a problem. They're telling us that they're missing school because they're on their periods. Mums are going without period products to give them to their daughters. And food banks are saying, we don't get these donations, but we know it's an issue. But eventually, when I tried to take the legislation through, at the time, the SNP government were really trying to say we don't need legislation. And they were trying to say that what I had drafted wasn't very good. But then something changed. I suppose there was a lot of public campaigning. I think this shows that grassroots campaigns and that public support does make a difference. And I had all the party leaders on side. And it meant that Nicola Sturgeon was the only one not signed up to support the bill. And I think that just became untenable. So in the end, they agreed to work with me. We worked through it, and Scotland became the first country in the world to introduce universal free access to period products. And the legislation's been enforced now for a couple of years fully. I get many, many emails and letters from around the world saying thank you to what we've done in Scotland. Also, I won't say who, but I'm at the moment working with a very, very big private company that's a global company, but they also want to introduce free period products for their customers. And if this takes off, this could be quite a big thing.